Hi everyone, happy Friday. Yeah, like Stephen said, I'm going to talk through LinkedIn advertising tonight. Just out of curiosity, has anyone in here done much LinkedIn advertising before? Couple? Okay, that's good. So it's basically going to be an overview of the ad platform, how you get ads set up, and a few things that I've learned along the way. So just a little bit about me quickly. So I've been working in SEO and online marketing for about 10 years now. Set up my own consulting business end of last year. So advise a lot of businesses on online marketing, but also do a lot of the execution as well. But execution business didn't really have the same ring. I run a site called Online Guitar Lessons, which combines like my passion of playing guitar and online marketing. So if you're into guitar, go and check it out. And I also love motorbikes. So that's about me. So yeah, why LinkedIn? Clearly, massively powerful advertising platform for anyone selling B2B products, but also hugely powerful for anyone wanting to reach people in the business community. So if you look at their growth, it is growing. So they've got about 450 million members at the moment. What's quite interesting about LinkedIn compared to other platforms is the ratio between active users and full memberships. It's not quite as strong as other social platforms, which I imagine is why they're pushing out new designs like they did last week. But interestingly, according to this survey on HubSpot, massively powerful for conversions, particularly for lead gen. So in the survey, I think they surveyed about 5,000 businesses, and they found that LinkedIn for lead gen converted about 3 times higher than Twitter and Facebook. So obviously very, very powerful. But when I talk to people about LinkedIn and running ads on LinkedIn, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it was a bit annoying, we didn't really get any results. People get quite frustrated with it, which I would say is quite valid, because as a platform, if you compare it against others, it's not that amazing. So I know this is a presentation about why you should use LinkedIn, but I think it's worth kind of starting off and understanding what you're up against. So first little bit of a gripe is there's not much choice. So if you're going to go and set up a campaign in LinkedIn, these are the 3 options you've got. So you can run sponsored content, you can run text ads, which appear on the right-hand side, which you've all probably seen before, and you can now run sponsored in-mail. So that's like sponsored messaging. If you compare that against the choice you've got on Facebook, so there's 15 choices there for campaign formats, right? So you can do things like bid on lead gen, you can bid on video views, you can bid on kind of building followers and building your audience. You can't do any of that with LinkedIn. And what I find absolutely amazing, business advertising, no lead gen format, which I think is a little bit nuts. It's also not that cheap. So compared to kind of CPCs or costs on Facebook or AdWords or something like that, it's at least going to be double. So if you're kind of looking at spending budget to test and learn, like that period in which you've got to learn before your money runs out is going to be a lot shorter than Facebook, so you've got to bear that in mind. And that's even if you can find the ad platform itself. So this made me chuckle a little bit actually. This was the new design that rolled out last week. I'm assuming most people have seen it. And I kind of went on and like, how do I get to the ads? I don't know if anyone can see the link. It's that tiny little one at the top there. So yeah, it's now in the drop down, the more drop down, but yeah, initially that was the only link through to the ad platform, which is obviously great for them. So with all of that in mind, if you haven't decided to give up already, it's worth looking at a few results. So this was a campaign that I ran through Q4 last year. With all of those frustrations though, it is a massively effective ad platform when used correctly. So this was a campaign I ran across Q4. It's for a business that has an incredibly specific audience. Really difficult to target that audience on other platforms. This was about $17,000 of ad spend over the quarter. And you can see that Gmail, sponsored promotions, and LinkedIn were both best for the cost per conversion. Display didn't work very well for them. Twitter didn't work that great either. So it does work. The reason it works is the ability to target at a very, very granular level. So we'll run through all of this now. So yeah, if we just run through, so this bit will kind of run through how you go about getting ads set up. So the first thing you do when you set up an ad campaign is you have to choose the format. So like I was saying, you've got sponsored content, so sponsored posts. So that looks exactly like an organic post in LinkedIn, but it's sponsored, so quite native. You've got text ads, so they sit on the right-hand side. And you've got sponsored email. I'd say if you're going for your first campaign, you're going to test things out a little bit. I go for the sponsored content personally as a first choice. Here's what all three look like. So you've got the sponsored content on the left, one of LinkedIn's campaigns that they're currently running, I see a lot of. You've got the text ads in the middle. So they're not really just text ads, you do have a bit of an image as well. And then the sponsored email here on the right-hand side, which is essentially just a message that you're paying to distribute. So in terms of creating ads, like it's really simple. So with all those limitations, it does make it very easy to get going. So this is that part of the ad manager. Very, very simple. You can choose to sponsor content that you've already put out, or you can set up your own ads as new content that's just exclusively for ads. In terms of creating them, again, not a massive amount of flexibility or choice. So if you're used to kind of creating really carefully created ads in Facebook, like this is very, very different and very simple. You literally just copy your content in, obviously make sure you've got a link. And then in terms of imagery, it's a little bit weird in that if you use the, if you delete the snippet and use the image icon there, you'll just upload the image and you'll be paying for clicks on an image that doesn't go anywhere. Not great. So if you're going to put a custom image on your ad, you basically edit the image within the snippet. So just a little bit of a wary thing there. In terms of the text ads, again, very, very simple. So you've got a 25-character headline, 75-character description, and a small image. There's quite a nice little preview function there to kind of show you how it looks. But that's pretty much about it. If you do want to get a bit more complicated, so if you want to do things like running dynamic ads or kind of really custom targeting, LinkedIn do offer an assisted service, but you've got to be spending more than 10K per quarter per campaign. So it's a pretty significant budget, given that most people over a quarter would probably want to run multiple campaigns. So 10K per campaign over a quarter, I think, is quite high. But if you are spending that amount of money, then the service is available to get you like a dedicated account manager and some extra functionality. So on to the targeting side of things, which is by far and away the most powerful and interesting part of the ad platform on LinkedIn. So what I really like about this is, okay, if I want to target people with like a decision-making power or the ability to sign a budget, like I can start targeting people by seniority. So I could target people at the director level only if I want to. I could target people in buying roles. You can target people by years of experience. You can target people by company. So if I just want to, you know, if I'm running my agency and I know, okay, I really want to work with these 20 businesses, I could run a campaign just targeting the buying power people at those 20 businesses if I want to. So very, very powerful. In terms of the setup, again, it's dead simple. You get an estimated audience size on the right-hand side. So it's showing me, okay, for the UK, if I want to target marketing managers, marketing directors, that group of job titles there, that gives me an audience size of 120,000. I've found running campaigns that you definitely need to be building an audience of over 100,000 for the campaign to kind of show any results. So kind of within the fact that you can target at granular level, you do need it to be a certain size to work. In terms of researching, so I've also found that groups are a really effective way to target people. So I was running a campaign last year for a company that do footwear testing, right? So their target audience are people who work in quality control for footwear manufacturing. If you do sector targeting on LinkedIn, there is no official sector for footwear manufacturing. So we decided to target members of groups. If you want to research groups, the search functionality on LinkedIn is definitely getting better. So for example, let's go and have a look at digital marketing groups, put the search query in, go to groups, and you've got a really good list there, which tells you the size of those groups, so you can obviously go and put those into your campaigns or start getting involved in the conversation organically. My favorite Chrome plugin for this type of thing, sorry Stephen, is a plugin called Hunter. Don't know if anyone's used that before. A few people maybe, no? What it does, so just add it onto Chrome. If you Google it, you'll find it. And then when you go and look at a profile on LinkedIn, you get the orange Hunter icon. If you click on that, you get their email address. Can I still get you on that email address? Say yes. Right. So if there's an email address associated with the LinkedIn profile, you'll be able to pull it out with that plugin. We'll go to something slightly more interesting. Sorry, Stephen. Again, drop an email. Cool. The other thing you can do, exporting contacts. So again, that campaign I showed you earlier, part of their objectives was to build up the profile of their industry experts. So what we did for that was we went to their industry experts who had pretty significant followings on LinkedIn themselves. You can export the contacts and you can put those email addresses into a custom audience on something like Facebook and just create other touch points within that audience. So if you want to kind of look at ways around it, that's another way that you could target people from LinkedIn through different platforms. So in terms of bidding, there's not a lot to say, to be honest. You can bid on cost per click, you can bid on cost per impressions, 1,000 impressions, so CPM, and within mail, it's you pay per send. There's no automated bidding strategies. You can't kind of schedule different biddings for different times, for different devices or anything like that. It's pretty limited. There are your options. There's not a huge amount more to say on that side of things. This was a really good release last year. So prior to them releasing the conversion tracking, you basically got standard performance metrics like clicks, click-through rates, and social engagements. Now you can report on conversions through the ad platform. So in terms of getting that set up, it's really simple. So if you're used to kind of setting up the pixel from Facebook, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. Same as analytics, that type of stuff. So it's a really short script. You just copy and paste that, put it into the footer of your website, or put it in through something like Tag Manager, and it's all there. What you then do, the next step in that process is to set up goals. So once you have your pixel on the site, or your tracking code on the site, you then go and configure goals based on page views. So if you have a lead gen form, you probably want to set a goal up for the thank you page on that lead gen form. Again, just make sure that your form goes through to a thank you page so you can track it. So from that, let's have a little bit of a look at the data that comes out in the platform. It's not massively detailed, but there are some interesting insights that you get. So once you've gone through to a campaign, this is the view that you see. If you click on the demographics tab at the top, you can start to report on performance by demographic. So if you're trying to kind of learn what targeting is going to work for the next campaign, like it's pretty useful to see what demographics have worked from clicks, traffic, engagement, but also conversions, assuming that you got the conversion pixel on there. but it's fairly generic. So let's say, for example, we're running a campaign targeting members of 10 LinkedIn groups. You don't get the performance breakdown of each group. So what I would suggest with that is trying to set up a structure for your campaigns that takes that into account. So if you've got 4 campaigns, you might want to test 2 for sponsored content, 2 for text ads, 1 with group targeting, 1 with job titles and sectors. And that means if you've got the conversion pixel on the site and you're tracking conversions, then you're going to get a much more granular view on the data. So within the limitations, it just means you've got to structure the campaigns in the way that you're going to get some meaningful insight out. And that's my presentation. I hope it was useful. Thank you.